Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And the chaos in Cape Town continues, despite the army being ever present now, at a great cost to the small budget that the South African National Defence Force now gets. One wonders when the soldiers are going to be stopped being paid. Won't that be an interesting time? If municipal workers can cause so much trouble. Anyway, regardless, last weekend, murders in Cape Town increased to 46. Now, the previous weekend they were celebrating because the army was there and they dropped down to 25, which was like, a little bit lower than normal. But now it's increased up to 46 over a weekend. So the army are making diddly squat difference to the murders that are happening in the Cape Town region. And I've attached a video here where they talk about how these gang wars that are going on in Cape Town are causing huge stress on the whole health system, because the financial system is in so much stress that they're not able to cope with handling all these people who haven't been killed, but they've been wounded, because there's a lot of collateral damage happening in the Cape when there's a gang fight. Well, let's have a look at what actually happened last weekend. The Western Cape health system is under severe pressure, with millions being spent to treat gunshot and stab wounds. The 46 murders last weekend included 21 shootings and 20 stabbings. There were also several reports of residents being injured in the shootings. The previous weekend, when the army had just been deployed, there were 25 murders, and while the police and army battled it out to bring stability to the gang-ridden areas, hospitals and clinics are under severe strain. The Western Cape MEC for Health, Nama French and Bombo, said, "A multiple bullet wounded person takes longer to manage and impacts on the waiting time of others, as they are a priority. They are the red patients. A costing that has been recently done by trauma surgeons and specialists found that we spend on average about 25,000 rand per person, excluding the medication, excluding the length of stay and the ambulance." The health MEC says the ongoing violence is also impacting negatively on the community's mental health, with children in particular being traumatized. Now here comes the video. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed, ring the bell for updates, and have a great evening.
An increase in murders this weekend. Does this mean the army is not helping?
Well, from the reports that we've heard, 46 people murdered this previous weekend as opposed to 25 the previous week, to coincide with the deployment of the army and increased police on the Cape Flats, is an indication that the police and army alone will not help to quell the violence on the Cape Flats. It's much deeper than that. But also what's happening is that while the police and army are trying to stabilize the violence on the Cape Flats, the continued violence is having a negative impact on the health system in the Western Cape. Now already the budget for the health department, or for the Western Cape Health, has been slashed, but not only for the Western Cape. Apparently the budgets for health has been slashed across the country, but because of the uniqueness of the violence in the Western Cape, i.e. the gang violence, this is putting a strain on the health budget as well as health services and health resources in the Western Cape.
Yeah, so given all of that, the pressure it's putting on the health system is something you're talking about, and the costs of actually treating gunshot wounds is another issue for the city, putting even more financial burden on the system.
That is correct, because you're not only, and I'm talking about the Western Cape here, you're not only dealing with infectious diseases, you're not only dealing with issues, you know, where people are coming for diabetes or cancer or tuberculosis. The Western Cape hospitals and clinics are also having now to deal with violent crimes perpetrated against residents and communities on the Cape Flats, like gunshot wounds and stabbings, and that is costing the health department dearly and having a strain on the already decreased budget that they've received from national government. And earlier today I spoke to the NEC for Health, Noma French Mbombo.
Multiple bullet wounded person takes longer to manage. Plus also it impacts on the waiting time of the others, because they are the priority, they are the red patients. So they have to take a priority. A costing that has been recently done by the trauma surgeon specialists, they found that actually we spend about an average of about 25,000 per person, excluding the medication, excluding the length of stay, the ambulance, if the person has been brought by the ambulance.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. Our reporter Aisha Ismail is in